Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sellik the Thunder podcast, episode number 51, brought to you by the guys over at G4 Claims in this lovely G4 Claims studio. And it's great to be back for the first time since that Derby game. We've not actually sat down and spoke, boys, and it feels a little bit odd that we haven't. We apologise for the wait in the podcast. We've all been incredibly busy, but we are here. And we're here to celebrate in what has been a successful couple of weeks for Celtic since we were last on. I'll start with you, Ryan McGinley. How you doing, mate?
Delighted, mate. 21 points in 21. Can't complain at all. Feeling pretty good about things just now and looking forward to the weekend for another game.
You've been kind of living up to a little bit of the fault. You've been rough a couple of times, haven't you, since the last show?
Rough a couple of times? I've just been enjoying it, really.
You're enjoying life at the moment?
I'm actually trying to think of the last time I was drinking. I can't, really. No, it was last Saturday, actually.
Was it last Saturday? Aye.
We Waxio Corners.
Because I seen one of the questions for today's show was, is Kieran Auld drinking this weekend? Kieran Auld isn't here. We record on Friday night. Kieran Auld isn't away this week, and I can confirm he's not drinking.
Not drinking.
He's not drinking. He's having a weekend in. He said he hasn't been feeling very well. So thoughts and prayers.
You asked him if he's got the black COVID.
Yes, I did ask him, but I don't think he does. I think he's in the clear. And Callum Craig, you're over at the left hand side of the table. How you doing, mate?
Not too bad. As I said, I celebrated that Derby win with yourself after it. I've just been sort of enjoying it ever since. It's been a good wee run of results we've had going.
Yep. The Derby was the game that kicked it all off, and we'll get into that in a moment. I was talking to you there, McGinley. You're talking about how you're fucking starving at the moment, and I want to tell a story because it just reminds me of McDonald's. So I was out at the brilliant establishment that is Firewater on Tuesday night. It was a good night. Me and Kieran Auld, we properly indulged. We were in the McDonald's queue at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to tell this story because honestly I was pissing myself, right?
Hopefully not in the McDonald's.
Not literally, but just figuratively pissing myself. We're in the queue, right? And I don't. This isn't a political podcast. This is nothing to. This isn't trying to show off what side of whatever divide I may be on. I'm not here trying to be a pro-Republican or part of any organisation. But we were in the queue, and there was an Irish lassie, right, that was in the queue. So we started chatting away to her and a pal. A pal was for like Yorkshire or something. I think she was for Huddersfield. So we're just sitting chatting away, and I was like, "Oh, whereabouts in Ireland?" She was like, "Oh, Derry," and I was like, "Ah, well done." And I was like, "I noticed you never said fucking London Derry there, so I know what side, you know." And just having a laugh, you know, as you do.
Did you ask her her favourite titles?
What land do you prefer, the northern or the southern?
Just get the laptop out, you brought it specifically for this moment.
We're sitting talking away and I'm just having a laugh and talking away. The bouncer was getting fuming because I was getting very into the Irish politics and stuff. The bouncer was fuming. He's like, "Could you please stop having this conversation in the queue?" And I'm like, "Calm down, fella, right? I'm not antagonising anybody here. I'm having a genuine conversation with a genuine Irishman or Irish woman." So anyway, we kept talking away, and I was like that, and I just for a laugh, as I said, don't take it seriously, whatever what side you're on. I said to her, "What do you think of Bobby Sands?" Right? And do you know what she hit me? "Proddy bastard." And I was like, "What?" I was sitting there like, you're an Irish Catholic who's said openly to me a minute ago you're on the Republican side, and you just said, I'm honestly pissing myself in the middle of this queue outside. Like, I'm like, "Excuse me." She was like, "Well, he was." And I was like, are we talking about the same person here? And she's like, "He was, look it up." And I was like, I did look it up. I proved her right. She's like, "I must be thinking of somebody else." Did you get
that mixed up? That's like an open goal.
I know. I was like, "You are actually a real life Derry citizen." And you have just hit out with that. I can honestly, I was taking it as the most.
Who's she getting mixed up with? James Sands that plays for Rangers? I don't know.
I do not know. I honestly do not know who she was thinking. At that point, genuinely, the bouncer came over to the queue. He pulled me aside. The bouncer, I say the bouncer, it was the McDonald's security guard for that time of night. He came in and he pulled me aside. And he's like, I've asked you once, and I've asked you again. Shut up about this conversation." So then I just turned to the Huddersfield fan and I started chatting to her about the Sheffield United chant, about a good greasy chip butty. I was asked if she liked a greasy chip butty. It was truly honestly, I'll
Your
never.
chat is off the scale.
Oh, mate, it's terrible, it's awful, but I honestly will not forget that. Like, Kieran Aldo tell you, I was in bits. I was like, Kieran's face, I think he might have dropped his cigarette, to be quite honest. Like,
That's when you know.
that's when you know. It was honestly something I'll never get it.
Just before we go on, obviously this is episode number 51.
Yes.
Can you name any of the previous 51s?
Have you looked this up, aye?
Yeah, just looked up there.
Callum, can you think of any? Because I'm stumped already.
Not a fucking clue.
You would have maybe got one of them if you were...
51. Yeah, I get a clue. Can we get a clue?
He played for Sellik.
It's true. 3 of them did play for Celtic.
Fuck
The first number 51 was in season 07-08. One of the current members of the Celtic team used to wear number 51,
One of the current members of the team used to wear 51.
but he changed.
But he changed. You're thinking one of the younger guys.
And he's an outfield player.
Oh, I've no clue. Just tell us. Go on.
So you could have had Joe Thompson.
No way. I was thinking about him in my head. I know that's why the things you go.
I feel bad for shrugging my shoulders because I don't know who that is.
Because do you know why I was going to say him? Because I remember him for like FIFA 08. And I was going to say him. I just remember Thompson, FIFA 08. He was like 52 rated or something. And I was like, do you know what? I might guess him. Genuinely, that was my thinking behind that. I should have done it.
The other like kind of unknown one was Nicky Riley in 07, 08 and 09, 010.
I had a clue.
Anthony Ralston.
Did
number
Ralston?
51
Was he?
in 15, 16, yeah.
Was he? 15, 16.
Now, I'm thinking, I'm not sure when he made his debut, but that might have been the first number he
That
got.
must have been make him up for the...
I must have been because I can only remember him being part of Rodgers' team, which is obviously after 15, 16. So maybe it was just it must have been on the bench one day and registered with number 51 or something.
Aye, because Philip Twardzik was number 56.
Oh, I Philip the Twardzik twins, remember them? Aye.
Oh, aye.
I can't remember who he's playing. I remember seeing a tweet the other day saying he was playing somewhere, but I can't even remember where he was.
Aye, well, outstanding. Right, let's get on to talking about Celtic. And look, we've not had a chance as a collective to talk about it. I know it's a bit out of date, but I think we want to all have an opportunity to talk about that big derby win. We've got a lot of things to talk about in this, including Celtic's finances, and there's a quiz and there's Twitter questions, I believe, as well. I'll need to actually go and retweet that. But we've got a lot to talk about, so let's try and get through as much as we can. Callum, we'll start with you. That derby last week, we sat in this podcast, and I think we were all very optimistic about what Celtic could have done in that game. Did you expect it to be quite as good as it was?
No. And obviously you try and go in as positive as possible, but there's nowhere. I don't think anybody would have turned around and said 3-0 at half time. Nobody for me. It's the fact that how strong we were straight ago, like we just pressed them straight away, took the game right to them. You seen they backed off and they thought we'll try and sit in for the first 5 minutes or 1-0 behind, and I think just for there it was a complete domination.
What was your celebrations like? To maybe the first goal in particular, but every goal, Callum, I feel like when it went in the back of the net, I obviously celebrated. I went off my head, right? But there was a kind of aspect to the celebration that was like, what is going on? I was actually turning to Kieran and David and I'm like, what is going on? You know, I don't know about you and your seat or whatever.
I know, I think it was like when the first, obviously I've seen it and we're jumping about celebrating, but then same as somebody's went, oh no, and I went, what? And I'm like, he's going to chop it half an offside or something. And obviously it's because Aribo comes right through Bassey and flattens him, and it's that, and I'm like, fuck off, like, he's going to rule that off or something. You just had that wee gut feeling.
Were you in the what was it, Alex Ray? Oh, he's checking for offside. He's checking for offside.
So I was planning, I was like, oh no, he's going to chop back in there, but I mean, thankfully, fucking Baldy Bobby.
Baldy Bobby,
nah, he done his job right.
Nice, lovely. And I'm glad that you're having a pint. That's keeping up the good.
It's a Friday
night. I know it's unlike
Buick had a pint yesterday.
Buick's had a pint the last couple of shows actually. So
good on him.
He's living life. McGinley, you were there as well.
Yep.
I mean, I don't even know where to go. I'll just let you wax lyrical, mate. What do you make of the game?
I mean, I was confident before the game, but I didn't think it was going to be that comfortable. I mean, first half was absolutely brilliant. We were totally running over the top of them. And then, contrary to what Van Bronckhorst was saying after 25 minutes, they dominated the game. Celtic ripped the piss for the rest of the game after half time.
Fucking hell, ripped the piss is an understatement. We had James McCarthy on there for a laugh. We brought on
Ben Doak as well coming on. I was like, yous are ripping
we
the
brought
piss.
on fucking somebody that was half a flight for Japan that morning for a fucking laugh. You know what I mean? And you're quite right, McGinley.
Yep, we Maeda. We'll talk about him later. I love the guy.
Yes.
What a debut in a game for Rio Hatate to be involved in that sort of fixture for the first time. But between him and O'Reilly, you could say the two of them, they stood up and they were counted for. They were absolutely phenomenal, the two of them. how long may it continue? Hatate is he's got the world at his feet.
Yeah, I think he's been the real conversation over the past sort of, since the last podcast, you know, if you were to pick out a player individually who's had a lot of the plaudits and the headlines, it's Rio Hatate. You know, we've seen him against Hearts, he scored that scorcher into Craig Gordon, and, you know, going into that derby game, you're hoping for the same. He doesn't just do it once, he does it twice in that derby game, and it's a real testament to the way he's adapted to this league. Callum, as you watched that game in the stadium, it was a real coming of age moment, wasn't it? Like the way that I summed it up, I don't know if you'd agree, I'll let you give your own opinion, but the way I summed it up is, I just look, and I think this was on a live stream with you actually, the way I said it was, I look at him and I look at that, and I look at him as a player who could be a sort of Moussa Dembele, a Virgil van Dijk, not necessarily saying that they'll go into those heights, but in this league he'll be here for however long, and he'll be the very top level in this league.
Oh, definitely. I think, as you've touched on there, not to say that it will go and turn up the likes like a Van Dijk and such, but as again, going between both your points, Miguel said, the world's at his feet, everyone's ahead of him now. He's put himself at such a high standard, he keeps continuing that, God knows, could leave Celtic in the next year.
Well, we've already heard rumours of certain players being linked with clubs,
but that's good though, because it's showing that the players are turning up and doing well. It's good to have suitors and have a not
John Sutter.
I just realised that in my head. That maybe it's not. I mean, Kyogo's still got him in his back pocket, but it means it's a compliment, you would say.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part and parcel of being a football team. You're going to have suitors that. Well, I've said that again. It's totally thrown me off. You're going to have people that want you, especially if you're playing really well, so you can't really complain about it.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to talk about, because I don't want to spend too long talking about the derby, since it has been obviously out of the kind of question. We've got another one in 5-6 games time, and we've got other games to focus on and other performances to kind of cover. But one thing after that game, and I know Kieran Auld, if he was here, he'd be keeping it all very grounded and very level-headed, and well, I wouldn't say level-headed, he'd be loving it, he'd be fucking rubbing the noses in it, quite frankly. But I think that one thing from that game, what I gathered, is that after 1 year of football not being normal, I feel like Celtic are well and truly showing once more that they are still the top dogs in this country, and I know there's a long way to go until we can win a league, but we've already won 1 this season. We're back at the top of the table. Hopefully we get through the next round of the Scottish Cup on Sunday. Right now, to me, undoubtedly, Celtic look the best side in this country.
I think when everyone's fit and firing, every team is on their top form, Celtic play the best football out of the lot of them, and you've seen that especially against Motherwell. I know we'll talk about that game, but I thought we played even better against Motherwell than we did against Rangers. Some of the football we were playing, especially in the first half again, was absolutely sublime. And we talk about this being like a sort of rebuild season for the team. I mean, if this is a rebuild, then how good is next season going to be? I know I mentioned that in that live stream that we done, but if we can get better than this, then I worry for the rest of the league.
Obviously, Callum, I think Ange said after the game, after that match against Rangers, that he's not got the team at its best yet. There's still a way to go. He focuses on getting the team at their best coming towards the end of the season, which is great because we need to keep concentrated, we need to keep focused. That's a very good thing. How far can you see a Celtic team going? Does it excite you knowing that this isn't even us at our peak?
I think even it starts with Andy's comments with Hatate. So he's not even fully fit yet, like that straight away. But then you look at the rest of the team, the way everybody's going, like the best headache a manager can have, the team Andy's got there now, it's ridiculous how good it is. But as you said, the fact that it's nowhere near the finished article yet, it's still to keep going, it's frightening. Yeah,
does it, as I said to McGinley a moment ago, you know, we're already hearing about the likes of Leicester looking at Josip Juranovic. You look at the way Hatate's playing, for example. You look at all these players playing so well. Does it? As I brought this point up on one of my own videos, I was like, does it worry you that potentially you're facing the prospect of another rebuild in a few months? These players are playing so well. It wouldn't surprise me if other teams were looking at them already.
No, I mean definitely. I mean, they've every right to look. You can only hope it's a case of look, don't touch. It's
I like that.
The fact they've only been here a year, you'd think they'd like to at least test themselves at least another year within the league, and then it's not as if they're all good players, they're all going to keep playing their same level. It's not as if another club won't come in for them at any other point in their career. It's not as if they're on like the last years of their career, but they need to take a big move. They've still got plenty of time left.
And that's the thing about this team right now. I really honestly do believe, and I know we've been blinded by false loyalties in the past, as recent as, even 2-3 years ago, we've been blinded by things like this. But right now, I just look at our manager and I look at the unit of players that we have, and I just see this real connection, this real bond to begin with, that even if it is only one more year after this, I don't see players ready to flood to the exits come this summer.
No, I don't see it the way it was last summer, or that summer just passed there, that players were so desperate to go after that absolute shit show of a season. There seems to be a really good sort of relationship between the players themselves and between the players and the fans, and the players and the manager too. It seems like a really, really good place to ply your trade, and it's showing on the pitch because they're all buzzing. You look at when we score a goal, everybody's jumping on each other basically because they're all buzzing. You get players playing golf shots to each other.
Love that.
Absolutely love it.
Love that.
And that all comes down to a good atmosphere which has been built by Ange. Ange is he's doing a hell of a job.
He is, quite frankly, our leader.
Absolutely. See if he wins the league this season. I mean, if and when, you could say maybe. I'm fingers crossed.
Yep.
He's got to be manager of the year.
Oh, absolutely. I think that...
And then some.
We always look at the manager of the year conversations, and straight away we look at results over the course of that year, but what you need to look at is the big picture of what he's actually done, and it makes it a no-brainer.
And
still a while to go, of course.
See the thing about Leicester being interested in Juranovic? I'd be more worried about Leicester being interested in Ange Postecoglou than Juranovic because your man Brendan Rodgers is on a very sugary peg.
He is on thin, the thinnest of thin ice, to be quite frank.
God, you'd just love if we met them in the Conference League and put them out.
Oh, it would be something.
I mean, I still do quite like Brendan Rodgers, but I would love to put
See, obviously, there was that period of time when I was very vocal on Twitter about my love and admiration for Brendan Rodgers, and I would take him back at Celtic. Seen that tweet the other day, and this is a completely different pod. We'll save this for the summer because I'd love to do this a full podcast, maybe like a video or whatever. But I seen a tweet a couple of weeks ago, and it was like, your thoughts on Brendan Rodgers right now, and I seen a few people doing it, and I am absolutely one of the people on this side. I take him back in a heartbeat if I'm just gone. Take him back in a fucking heartbeat.
I think he would take it as well.
I
think he will be Celtic manager again before.
I have a feeling he will be as well.
Yeah, I think he's got unfinished business.
But fuck him.
I don't know right now. But it's one of those ones.
We'll wait till the conversation starts.
He probably needs it to get his sort of reputation back as well. But I'm so happy with Ange at the moment. I think we've won a watch. I don't know what kind of a Rolex
watch. Yes.
Absolutely. Just what a guy.
And on from that game, we have just been absolutely unstoppable, haven't we? We're now 8 straight games without losing. I believe it's 8, isn't it? 8 straight games in all competitions without dropping points, without losing.
Yeah, the last one
we could make that 9 this weekend against Rafe Rovers. There was a couple of games that followed on directly from the derby, just to catch you up in case for some reason you don't know already. We did win on 2 separate occasions, one on a weekend trip to Motherwell where we beat them 4-0, and the other at Pittodrie the other night where we won 3-2. Callum Craig will skip right to Aberdeen. That first half performance against Aberdeen, that full performance against Motherwell as well, just to quickly throw that in, is, and especially 45 at Aberdeen, it just shows how good we are just now, and we probably do look unstoppable.
I think it's so delightful to see, but like after the dross we had to sit through last season, it's ridiculous how good it is to see this season. It's just so refreshing. But it's the fact of it being continuous as well. It's not being like we go through a couple of games and then we have like a sort of a struggle, if you will. Every game we're starting from the get-go, it's just continuous one after one.
Because maybe what you're saying there, I think that's a really good point, because I think even at the start of this season, when Ange was still just getting into being manager and getting into being here at Celtic, there was maybe like some examples of that. We had those 6-0 wins, for example, but then obviously we lost at Livingston. And he's quickly corrected that. Now he's got a real string together, which is just fantastic.
Definitely, I think, as I said, because he's got a fully fit team there now, and he's got a full team there now, he's got a lot more variety. When you look at, if you were to get like a comparison, team we started the season with, it's still what it is now. It's night and day.
And it's like even in the derby, the teams that started the derby games, it's fucking crazy how different it actually is. What a turnaround, and it's been fantastic, Ryan. But Aberdeen was a tough test, though. We can't not talk about that second half. There is a lot of negatives in there. I think that we gave away 2 very cheap goals, but there was a real perseverance around Celtic again, I thought.
We don't stop. We never stop. We stop at half time. I mean, we did stop when we conceded those 2 goals, but we switched ourselves back on. We rebooted and we got the 3rd goal. That's Jota. That's just what he does. He's just a different class. He can get you out of so many holes. there was a lot. I thought Matt O'Reilly was really, really good against Aberdeen as well, especially the first half. I thought he was phenomenal. He's looking like an absolute steal at 1.5 million. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think we'll be selling him for 15-20 million when his time's up.
Big numbers.
Well, he's that good. I think he's only going to get better. I mean, you heard the thing at the weekend. Liverpool's stats people were saying he was top in a lot of areas.
Really?
At Liverpool, when they were tracking him,
wow,
he was top in like League One and that sort of level. So it just makes you think this is one hell of a signing we've just pulled off. And he's acclimatised so well. That's the great thing about this. The fact that he's came in straight from MK Dons. He was playing the weekend before. He's just put straight in. And he's fitting so well. He's just like a duck to water or a fish to water, whatever. What
was your thoughts on O'Reilly, Callum, before McGinley keeps going? I've not really had the chance to speak to you about him.
No, I thought he was talking as a whole or just Aberdeen?
Just all together, really,
just
since
he's
came
been
in.
absolutely unreal.
Aye.
I said, as McGinley said, it's an absolute steal at 1.5 million. The way he's come in, he's just gelled right in.
Yep.
But as you say, it's brilliant the fact we'll get the rotation now between the likes of him and Rogic. It's just essentially it's like the same player, just bit of youth in him.
That's what I love. I feel like it's like a proper regen.
It's like a cheat code, honestly, having those two.
Yep.
Even if you do 60-30 either way for player, you could put Rogic on for 60 minutes, then bring O'Reilly on. You've seen that against Motherwell. And Motherwell were like, oh God, another one.
Not another one.
I seen that Celtic used that on their TikTok for
did they? Aye.
Who was it they used that for? Another one.
Christ,
I'm not sure. It was Rogic's goal against Motherwell.
Right,
because he just loves scoring against Motherwell.
Park, aye.
Between Fir Park and Pittodrie, which was really surprising that he didn't start again against Aberdeen. I thought he would have been a shoe-in, but O'Reilly justified his place. But just going back to that game, the second half, I mean, I don't know what happened. I think we maybe had it too easy in the first half.
Yep.
We sat off them a bit in the start of the second half, and they were really up for it. They made a couple of changes. In particular, Kennedy came on and played really well against us, and it took us until we were level to be like, all right, we're in a game here. We need to get back on this. And how long was that? Like 60 seconds or something?
Right.
And then
I mean, Christ, they were obviously over at Ibrox singing about not being moved. It didn't take very long. Didn't take them very long to be moved, to be quite frank. Listen, the fact that we're back at the top of the table right now, there has been, you see a lot of Celtic supporters, and I'm one of them. I'm fucking open to it. Do you not think, and let's talk about the likes of the reaction to the offside goal, the reaction to some other things. You can tell Celtic are top of the league again, can't you? You really can. I do agree with that. Some people might say, oh, it's just pettiness and stuff. No, you can tell we're top of the league again because there's certain publications, certain people, and just certain outlets in this world who are probably digging up. What do you make? We were talking about it earlier, that thing about the Japanese flag in the pub.
Oh,
Jesus Christ almighty.
It's just... How can you take offence to that? Like somebody saying, you think about the amount of countries that are offended by the Union Jack.
Listen, actually, you've said that very well there. And look, I'm not here to cause offence, but this is a tweet I seen earlier, and just on that point that you touched on there, I want to actually read this out. This was one of the best tweets I've seen all day. Very underrated tweet. It deserves to have more likes than it does.
I'll get it now.
I'm not one to, as I've said at the start of the podcast, nothing on this podcast, and none of us are here to present political opinion. If you want that, come to the pub on a Saturday night and you can talk to me then. However, a tweet was put up today. Surely no one took their time out their day to complain about this. Japan is a unique, wonderful and welcoming country. If this flag offends your British sensibilities, you're in for a real shock when you find out how the Union Jack is perceived in certain areas of the world. Which is just the truth.
Butcher's apron on it.
That honestly, it's crazy that you can tell Celtic are top of the league again. People are pissed off by the flag of a country that is the other side of the globe, and people are complaining about this offside goal.
And what is the reason why that Japanese flag is flying? Because Kyogo got racist abuse.
Well.
So I mean,
but it's
two together.
It's insanity. It's absolute insanity. And that thing about the offside goal, piss. What's your opinions on the offside goal?
Cry more. That's my opinion. You're very right in saying we must be top of the league.
Aye.
Do you know what? If the assistant or the referee done their job, it would have been 3-0 at half time.
That's right.
And that sort of comeback wouldn't have even been possible because they would have had the wind knocked out their sails. So aye, do you know what? These things even themselves out over the course of a season. I'm going to use that because the other side of the city like to use that one a lot as well. And they get a lot of decisions.
Aye, we talk about this a lot when we're on like Xbox playing F1 and all the rest of it. We'll come to that at the end of the show. But we talk about this all the time and stuff about people complaining and moaning. I just, obviously some decisions are outrageous and some are worse than others, but ones like this, and you see the continuous, obviously, bombardment of articles in opposition fans' tweets and all the rest of it, like, geez, fucking peace, man. Surely we understand that the referees make mistakes in this country, and it happens in every game at this point.
And you look back to, again, the other side of the City, their manager, he was saying, I get the point, the referees over here, they don't have VAR and such. So I said, see if a decision's been made, you just need to go with it. There's no chance of overturning it at that point. It's just ridiculous, like, just get on with it, man.
It's like people, the Derby game, Alex Ray, for example, about
Aye,
this,
straight
like,
away,
and Chris Boyd as well, I think, it's very like, what we...
Get up that fat wank. Honestly, I love not and seeing his face. It's fucking brilliant.
Who was it? Was it beside? Was it Petrov or maybe it was somebody else? No, maybe it was Alex Neil. Is that his name? Baldy.
It was
Sunderland manager.
Cummins,
and Boyd is sitting there like fist clenched. You see that at half time? Like, he's like, Celtic just... it's Alex Neil. He's like, but Celtic just look unstoppable at the moment, and Chris Boyd's sitting there fist clenched in rage. It's fucking beautiful viewing. But you can tell we're top of the league again, as I said.
I've got to be honest, you see with the whole Chris Boyd sort of thing, he doesn't wind me up because he's not intelligent to wind me up.
No, I know exactly.
I see him as a sort of pity figure, and it's nice that he's got a wee job after football because he wouldn't be doing anything else. He's not smart enough to do anything else.
He's very dumb.
Last chance saloon for him, really, isn't it?
There was as I was going to say, you look at like Carragher and Neville, they do a really good job at winding up the opposition, Liverpool United, vice versa. Just Boyd, you see all the Rangers fans saying, he's winding, Chris Boyd's words have hurted them and all that part, that part on Twitter, fucking...
But him smiling and stuff.
He's winding him up, he's hurted them and all that. No, he's just a fucking idiot. That is literally it. He's just a fanny of the highest order.
I think the worst part, as you're saying, like with Carragher and Neville, but like, they'll dish it out, right? They know fine well, they'll take it back, right?
Boyd,
like, that thing with Boyd, like, you look at the Dundee United game, for example, with a chance towards him. That fine well, he'll go and give abuse towards Celtic and Celtic fans. As soon as it's coming back to him straight away, he's on the defensive.
Very petty.
It all just goes back to the shite product that Sky Sports have given Scottish football, the fact that he's the prominent commentator, the prominent pundit.
He is literally the face of the broadcasting side of it. He quite literally is, which is horrid to admit, but he is. They'll rely on him being the, you watch Sky Sports News and they go, we're going to go and talk to Chris Boyd now to talk about something in Scottish football, or you look at the punditry, he's always there for every single game. He is quite literally their face of the product. They try and get Ali McCoist in a lot and all the rest of it. Yeah, very good, but Ali McCoist always spreads himself across all these different outlets.
He's a freelance man, he gets about it.
And even Chris Boyd is their guy on Soccer Saturday as well, so he quite literally
Have you seen him on Soccer Saturday?
He's awful at his job. He's not even, you see, he's not intelligent. He's just a fucking idiot.
It's nice that they're giving people like Chris Boyd the opportunity to go in the studio and get some work experience and stuff like that, because my God, Clinton Morrison, it just looks at him with absolute disdain.
We're going to get done for a pile-on if we keep going, so we better move on from Chris Boyd. I don't want us getting fucking accused of bullying or something. Anyway, performances have been great. We're in a really good position right now. We stay top of the league. We're going to come back to talking about football in a moment. We'll talk about Raith Rovers in the Cup this weekend. However, before we go on to talk about some off-the-field things, let's have a look at Celtic's run of games coming up. It is really, really big now. Rangers have a run as well that's going to be challenging. But I think that if you look at our run, it is really more testing. Up until that next Derby game, if you take out European games, we've got Dundee at Celtic Park, we've got Hibs at Easter Road, St Mirren at Celtic Park, we've got the famous visit to the Tony Macaroni.
I'm fucking dreading
that,
man.
Livingston, and then finally we've got Ross County at Celtic Park. You've got 3 very favourable home games there, but you've got away ties against Hibs and Livingston, which could present a bit of a challenge. It's 15 out of 15 and you need Ryan.
Absolutely. Every game's a cup final for us from now until the end of the season. It's kind of been like that since about November, December time, which was what made the St Mirren dropping points so annoying. But obviously we've got that back and we're now top of the league where we belong, etc, etc. But I mean, if you were to look at Hibs maybe last season, you'd think that's more daunting than the Hibs that would be facing this season.
Yep.
It's really not started well for Sean Maloney over there.
Not at all.
I don't think he'll be a Celtic manager. I thought he would be. He was one of the guys that I was kind of shouting for. I
said it in TSF. I don't want to get in a whole conversation about Sean Maloney right enough, but I said it in TSF, give him a summer and judge him after that, because that Hibs team is mince and they went away. Like, half of them don't even look interested, so I would give him the summer before we start judging Sean Maloney.
Fair enough. But out of those 2 away games, I'm much more worried for the Livingston game.
Yeah,
that game. Like, I think about that game at night, and it worries me. I wake up in cold sweats about the Tony Macaroni. It's hell. It's honestly hell.
Yep, it's obviously a game at a time, Callum. I think that we should be focusing on Rafe before we even start thinking about the Tony Macaroni, considering that's still at the start of March and we're not even halfway through February. But you look at that run of games there, Callum, and you look at the way we've been playing. You're hoping that this is potentially the time to go and win somewhere like Livingston and really establish 50 out of 15. If we can do that, you're looking at a really favourable chance of winning the title.
Definitely, I think. I mean, it's going to sound as daft, but I remember a video on your channel, which was last season, and it was when we were going to go and play Hibs at a point, and we hadn't won there since God knows how long.
Oh, that's right.
It was since, I know Lennon won it in the Cup, or whatever, when he first came in, but it was that we went a continuous run, couldn't win, that's what it feels like, Livy away. It just feels so horrible going there.
I think I've now been 6 times to Livingston, 5 or 6, and I've not seen us win.
Last time
Stop
they won
fucking
was
going then. You're the jinx.
Listen, me and
you're
Kieran
like that Bono, the Bono video of it snapping his fingers. Stop fucking snapping your fingers then.
Every time I click my fingers, Celtic lose a game. Why is he fucking American now? Celtic lose a game at Livingston. Boom. Stop fucking
We've not won there since something like 2005. The last time we played there, they had an actual grass pitch, which is probably help us.
A long time
last
ago.
time we were there, I think Derek Riordan scored as well.
A galaxy far, far away, that seems. Let's talk about the next subject.
Horrible place.
Oh, and the list before we talk about real football again, and we've got questions. I'll probably dive a lot more into the questions this week since, we've missed a lot to catch up on in this time. But the news broke today. We're filming at a really good time, in fact, for this, because it was released, I think, about 6 o'clock tonight. Celtic's interim report for the last 6 months before December. So this was probably July through December.
Yep.
Which is basically the start to the Ange Postecoglou era at Celtic Football Club. The report has been released, and yes, it's a lot of technical jargon in here, financial jargon, sorry, I should say. A lot of it that not even us on the panel can pretend to understand. However, just to quickly go through the key financial items, revenues increased by almost 30%. From 40.7 million to 52.9 million. Profit from trading was 7 million, which is a slight loss. However, profit from transfer of player registrations is 25.8 million. That's a 25.8 million bonus, basically. Profit before taxation of 27.6 million, which is a loss. Acquisition of player registration 16.8 million, which is up. And the period end net cash at bank of the year was £25.6 million, which is up from £19.7 million in the year prior, which means basically we have posted a pre-tax profit of £27.6 million, which has obviously been boosted by the likes of the sales of Odsonne Edouard to Crystal Palace, Christopher Ayer to Brentford, and yeah, absolute stonks, and no bad for a club who is apparently fucking skint.
Get that right up, you.
Joe Black.
How's that, bro? How are those numbers, bro?
It's obviously he'll think it's lies. We're making it up. These aren't real figures to Joe Black, of course.
That boy needs help.
But I felt like, Callum, you should have whipped out these cigars you got me for my birthday for this podcast. Gold bars, cigars, whiskey. That should have been the fucking theme.
Shane McMahon theme's going on in my head just
Here
now.
comes the money. No, but it is really good. It's obviously great. It's comforting to see that we are making money. We have been obviously following on from the COVID-19 environment that was the jargon used in there. Which was a really difficult time for all football clubs, and that included Celtic. We did see a loss. I remember in the last sort of statement that was published, we were talking about a lot of losses. So it's good to see us being in the profit margins by quite a fair bit.
That was the thing, because we knew that it was going to be good numbers anyway, because by then we'd already sold Ayer, I think it was. I'm not sure if it was Edouard, if we sold him, because I'm trying to think.
Edouard was after Ayer, was he? No, was he? Was he? I don't know, can't mind. But anyway.
Yeah, he was, because Edouard was right at the end.
Like he played in the derby.
Yeah.
Aye.
But we're in a good place. Sorry, what were you saying?
I don't know what I was going to say. I was basically going to say it's comforting to hear. Callum have obviously had a lot of mixed reaction to the so far appointment of Michael Nicholson in the CEO role. I don't know how much of his involvement has obviously came into this, but it seems right now we're heading in a good direction in terms of business wise. We've got a lot of that money sitting there. I take it you're hoping we see the money spent on the likes of Jota sometime soon.
Oh, I mean, surely him and Carter Vickers, that's my main two. we can get they two sorted, tied in, then I'd be more than happy.
It's crazy. We posted those numbers right now, McGinley. If we go and win this league this season, that's at £40 million as well. On top of that, that's
there's your incentive.
Yeah,
go and win this league, and look at the gap. You've got to think the gap would be bigger. Then
yeah, Callum, I'll come to you because McGinley.
I mean, there isn't really a gap just now, if you get what I mean. But what a chance,
Callum! You look at the money we've posted there, which is quite clearly better numbers than the other side of the city, right? Quite clearly. And that's not me trying to take the piss. That isn't me giving it the whole, Seth goes skint part. That's me being genuine. Our numbers are, and have been for the last 10 years, better than Rangers Football Club. You then add in the fact of winning £40 million at the end of the season, which Rangers have the chance to win, but would struggle to as well. You're talking about the severe possibility of us, running away from Rangers for a number of years.
Definitely, I think that's what I was going to touch on there. Somebody phoned in on Super Scoreboard the other night and they were saying it, said this kind of money that gives you at least a 3-4 year gap at the minimum. That's just a starting basis. You think you keep winning that time after time, then the money just keeps going up, the numbers go up, and it just becomes a steamroll at that point.
If you could, let's add a wee bit of fun into talking about finances, because we are not by any means experts. If you could ask for Celtic to do one thing with the money, what would it be? It's just a bit of fun. There doesn't have to, it could be expand the stadium. It could be just simply sign Jota. It could be sign something, anything at all. Does anything come to your mind straight away, or is it just simply sign Jota?
Sign Carter Vickers.
Okay, sign Carter Vickers. Aye.
I just love the boy.
I want to present a point to you that I actually did put on Twitter yesterday, but I took it down very quickly, and I'm going to save it for when he has a real stonker of a performance, which he normally does, but I'm going to save it. I genuinely, and I mean this, genuinely believe he is the best centre-half Tottenham Hotspur have. I genuinely believe that. Did you see Tottenham the other night?
Well, I watched the highlights.
3-2 loss to Southampton. Their defence was fucking minging. I'm telling you right now, and I don't mean to give it, Davis and Sanchez and Romero, was it?
Aye.
I would take Cameron Carter-Vickers over the pair of them every single day of the week. And I mean that. Don't take it. Conte, if you're listening somehow, arrivederci, ciao, or whatever. But fuck off. Quite simply, fuck off. Honestly, I think he's better than Harry Maguire, for fuck's sake.
It's big coming for you.
I know. Listen, I honestly, I don't know how this guy has been short of chances at Tottenham, because he's quite clearly better than Eric Dyer, Davison Sanchez, fucking Tanganga. He's quite clearly better than these players.
And that's quite funny, because I would have been quite happy for us to get Tanganga
so
in the summer too. But I want to watch again with Carter Vickers, and I think it helps the teams that he's been playing for previously. I think his last two loan moves were to Swansea and Bournemouth, who both play attacking progressive football. So it helps that he's been sort of integrated already. It means that he doesn't need to acclimatise as much. He's been absolutely phenomenal. He's definitely one of the shouts for player of the season, because I can't even think of him making a mistake.
Nah, never.
Maybe he could have done better in the goal against Betis, but that's me going back ages and ages ago. He's been that good.
What was I going to say there? Was a point going through my head, but
the only thing that's getting me with this, part of me's got to be feel like a Benkovic sure about it. What if he is Dave to turn and say, right, we'll play you this season? Goes back down there, had a couple of howlers, and again he's benched straight away. That's how I like us to spend the money, and straight away just comes up here, because he said himself he's enjoying his football here. So I know stay and continue playing it for yourself.
Aye, I agree. I completely agree. It's always one of those things that I wish that, and I hope that maybe it does change in years to come, and especially Postecoglou as a manager. But one thing I really want footballers to grasp is there is nothing. I know people want to go and challenge themselves at the very best leagues, and I really do understand that, but you've generally got something that you're not going to get anywhere else playing for this club. And I wish more loan players would understand that when they do have the genuine chance to sign for us.
I think Joe Hart's finding that out very, very quickly. The fact that, wow.
Don't need to tell me, mate. Decent.
We need to mention him, but...
Did you like my video yesterday?
I did, yeah. I didn't like what you done to me in the messages.
I would go on my fucking belt, man.
There's me thinking there was something wrong with him.
Christ, something wrong with me. What else? No, I got everybody watched that video yesterday. You have been pranked, but it was
prank patrol.
It was funny. But Joe, decent, love him, and yeah, I think you're right. I think Joe, for example, is a player who's getting that right now,
and I think that'll move to other players as well. Other players all of a sudden be like, oh, we could do this at Celtic. We can we can sort of revitalise our career, which is absolutely brilliant. I don't mind if Celtic's that, if they're revitalising players. I mean, we've done that with players like Fraser Forster, Scott Sinclair,
I suppose Craig Gordon.
Craig Gordon, aye. He was nowhere before.
Yep.
I mean, to be fair, Rangers got him to full fitness before we signed him. That was quite funny. I miss those days. But, no, it's a good image for the club to be having, that we can sort of give these guys a second chance.
Yeah, but aye, fantastic. So great to see Celtic going through and making money. I think if I was to, you know, I'm quickly just skimming through the statement that was released alongside it from Ian Bankier.
Is he not gone yet?
Who, Ian Bankier? No. I don't think he is.
He's kind of like Boris Johnson in a way, isn't he? He's just kind of like rode the storm and just went away into the shadows again.
You know, they're hoping they're really hoping and clinging on and praying to the fact that we just keep winning things, so that they can just stay without hassle. But talking about boardroom and talking about boardroom decisions, we head into Sunday's fixture against Raith Rovers with
quite one,
with a section of the stadium closed. The decision has been made by whoever, I'm assuming the Celtic board and Michael Nicholson, to shut the lower section of the standing section for Sunday's game against Raith. It came under a lot of fire, a lot of criticism, and a lot of mixed opinion as well. A lot of people obviously on the side of, well, what else are Celtic meant to do? I'm going to make one thing clear. You know, everybody's entitled to their opinion. A lot of people were not happy with my opinion. I read through the comment section in my video the other day. A lot of people just weren't happy with it. A lot of people disagreeing with me. I'm completely understanding of that. I understand that not everyone agrees, and people think that, you know, due to health and safety and because of how Celtic have probably been backed into a corner with it, they have to act, they have to do something. I get it. I think though, if you look at it from the angle that I'm looking at, you can understand why people like myself are incredibly frustrated when we're doing so well, when we're off the back of stadium silences a few months ago, which clearly had an impact on the stadium and the team. It is fucking frustrating. I know people will say, well, it's their own fault for bringing flares to the game. Celtic as a club were glorifying in these images and celebrating in these images shortly after the game, and now they've done this, and I understand it might have been forced by the likes of Police Scotland, by the likes of the Scottish Government. However, an opinion's an opinion. My opinion is I think it's a poor decision, but I am not in the boardroom. I'm not understanding of all the technicalities and how it may have been done. But it will feel a bit empty without them, Callum, won't it, in a way? I don't know what your opinion is on it all, but I hate having the no sort of Green Brigade there.
No, I think obviously we've seen it in recent seasons. It's just not right. It's just, it feels as if like something's died completely. Like I said, there's nothing like you've got like boys all sort of by the end of the stadium. They try and start stuff, but I mean, it's hard to kind of get something going up in that one and call it a good run.
Do a fantastic job.
I know they do. I mean, even like their display the other night after cracked me one, taking up the full section. I think it's just, you notice it massively. Like that extra oomph it gives the team. As everyone would say, it's a 12th man, but it's the difference it makes in our performance is night and day, I feel at times.
Yeah. McGinley, you're obviously near as well. You do notice the difference. It is annoying. You can understand frustrations of some of the support, but I think a lot of people always just look at it as an opportunity to stab away. I don't know. I don't really.
Yeah, but I think there's got to be a move. I don't want to get too political, but there's got to be a way in which pyrotechnics can happen in stadiums.
See, yeah,
there's got to be like a safe way of doing this.
This is a podcast, so I'd love to do it because I'd love to talk about it in a podcast in general, so that you can sit there for an extended amount of time and properly discuss it. Because so many people, especially in the comment section, this isn't me taking a dig at any of my viewers or listeners or anything. Everybody's entitled to an opinion, but I think people judge you off like 3, 4, 5 minutes of what you're saying and then go, oh, but you're think about this, that, next thing. I think there is genuine. We've looked at countries across the world where pyrotechnics are used at games in a safe way, like they were at Celtic Park last week, and it adds to the atmosphere. It makes for beautiful viewing, and it does nothing but enhance the product.
Yep.
But people automatically jump to the conclusion that it's hooliganism, it's unsafe. Nobody was harmed last Wednesday. From my understanding, no one has been harmed in that standing section, from my recollection. I think that people are just quick to assume because it's a pyrotechnic. Look, they're not shooting fucking rockets into the fucking crowd. You know, these are controlled, and these are, you know, I understand there has to be a change in legislation, there has to be a change in health and safety. But I don't know, I would love to have a proper discussion so that you can evaluate it more depth. Because I think you're right. I think there can be space to have them at football games to help enhance. We see, what is the difference, right? No, well, I do understand the difference. I know what people are going to say, right? But, you know, the Green Brigade had their wee pyros up, right, on Wednesday. But, you know, when it comes to, like, trophy day, we've got the pyro cannons on the park. You know what I mean? I know that one is controlled by people who are professionals and people who are, you know, but, you know, people are making out that these ones in the Green Brigade section are going to, like, kill folk. And I'm like, well, let's calm down.
If that's the case, then why don't... It's a big ask, but maybe some of the Green Brigade members, like, could... Like maybe go on courses and do it like that, so that they are like professionals and doing that sort of thing. It does happen at other clubs, I know that for a fact. I don't know if it's PSV maybe do it. They send some of their fans on professional courses so that they can. I heard that from another Celtic podcast. I can't remember what one because I've been listening to so many this week. But I know that they were talking about it, and I think that's a really good idea. Yeah, because then you wouldn't have as much trouble every time this happens. Yeah. But I don't want to be putting words in people's mouths or that, or advising groups to do certain things. But I mean, everybody will always have an opinion. It is a fickle one, and at the end of the day, I think it enhances the atmosphere. I thought it was great. The thing is, more and more of these people, I mean, like more and more of these fans are going to come through and want pyrotechnics, so it will happen eventually. We just need to wait long enough.
We all sound like a bunch of hooligans right now. That's what we sound like, yeah. You pair of yous.
I think it puts them off when you look at also them for the other side of the city. Their celebrations, the guy with his horn, next thing you know it's in the four corners of George Square.
Yeah, that's right.
But again, that's just
fingers on all four corners.
That's something sort of no use right, but that's what we're saying if there was a likes of these clubs we can send people to, then why not do it?
Right, let's talk about the football itself that's going on against Rafe Rovers.
It's a very political podcast.
It has been a very political podcast, this one. Christ, this is a make or break for us. Listen, I'm not pushing any agendas on anyone, just to clarify. However, bring back Jeremy Corbyn. Let's talk about, I was the firework the other night, right, and I was absolutely steaming. Like,
anecdotes,
3 in the morning nearly, and I'm wrecked at this point. Honestly, I'm fucking walking about, finding my way through, and I just hear this small section of people up at the bar going, "Oh, Jeremy Corbyn." That bard's dead, and I've joined in, and I'm like, well, I don't even know where the fuck you are.
That bouncer from McDonald's is down to get you again.
Listen, I've told you. Celtic play Rafe. We've played Rafe. We've already played them this season. We beat them 3-0 in the League Cup earlier on. Ryan, are you expecting more of the same on Sunday, or the time this is out, tomorrow?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago I thought this was going to be an even tastier fixture, given the news about who they signed. Obviously, they went back on that after doubling down. Then they were like, nah, we're not going to play good Willie. We're not going to get him in the club. So, I mean, you're just hoping it's a walk in the park, really, this one. I mean, the last game was pretty easy. I remember Jota scoring. I don't know if that wasn't his debut, it was his second or third game, but he scored. I remember him going through. I think that was a really good pass from James McCarthy, actually. Maybe James McCarthy will come back and play in that game. That might be what he's here for at this moment in time. Just play against Rafe Rovers, James, come on. But I'm just hoping it's an easy enough tie, and I'm hoping that we can get some rotation in the squad, see some players that haven't been playing. Maybe see Gucci. I'd like to see him in the team. Maybe Karamoku Dembele, and maybe Chris Julian as well. Yeah, Callum, I was going to come to you on the terms of rotation. Do you expect to see a lot of it?
I would like to imagine so. I think the big one I would like to see most is Julian. I think that's kind of game you can afford to bring him back into.
Yep.
I don't want to sound disrespectful towards Rafe, but it's a lesser level. Like, it's a nice, easier game for him to come in and ease him back into game time. I think I'd like to probably see maybe 6-7 changes.
6 or 7 changes. I would like to see like Scales come back into the team maybe as well.
See, personally, I'd like to see guys like Hatate in the stands, because I don't want him anywhere near this game. That guy needs a rest. He's played so many games, and I think he's seen. That's maybe a point that we didn't bring up against Aberdeen. I thought that was his worst performance for Celtic. He was dilly-dallying on the ball quite a bit. He was maybe doubting himself a couple of times with his passing, which allowed the Aberdeen players to sort of take the ball off him a couple of times. I just want to see him get a rest, and he can come back in on Thursday. You want to see guys like Juranovic. I know Juranovic won't be playing tomorrow, but he'll be back for Thursday. I want these guys fresh for the European adventures that we're having, and the league. This is a game for rotation. I think we can get away with the amount of rotation. Well, more rotation than we done against Alloa, that's for sure. Especially because it's at home. But On the other side of that, you want to see some players stay in the team because you want them their confidence to go up. Guys like Maeda, I'd like to see him start again.
Yep.
To get a couple of goals on his tally. But it's one of those ones. We'll see what Ange does.
Yeah, I'm looking at Rafe right now, and you said you don't want to be disrespectful because it's a low level. Celtic should be, and hopefully do win this game. I've just looked at their form. They haven't won a championship game in 8 games. 8 games on the bounce without winning. Their last win in the league actually came on the 11th of December, which is 2 whole months ago. And remember, the championship didn't stop for a break, did it? Or did it? No, I don't think it did. 11th of December was the last one. It came against Kilmarnock. They haven't won since. Their only win since is against the Banks OD in the Scottish Cup. This is a team that no matter if Celtic played their fucking B team should be beaten.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, that's just the reality of it.
Hoping we'll see some of the members of the B team in that game, maybe.
Yeah,
potentially Ben Doak could get his first start.
Aye, that'd be nice. That would be really nice. I don't know if there's really a point in doing a predicted 11 because it can be so topsy-turvy. We'd be here all day trying to predict it.
We could give it a go.
We could give it a go, but I feel like we would generally take up like 10 whole minutes, and I don't really want to do that.
Do it quickly.
Right.
I'll do a quick one.
You want to do a quick one?
I kind of want to do
Callum,
one.
if there's one, before Ryan goes, if there's one player you could pick out that you just want to see above anybody else, who is it? Is it Julian for you, or anybody else you'd really want to see? Is
Julian,
it Julian?
aye.
Yeah, I know, because I remember you were obviously, Callum has always been a big Julian fan.
So it's like centre half.
No, that's right. Your Starfelt sticker. Because I'm a goalkeeper, man, so I'd like to see Barkas back.
Holding mid for me.
Holding mid. I've always been a goalkeeper fan, like huge. Like when I was wee, my favourite Celtic player of all time is Artur Boric. I love Artur Boric. He's my favourite. And one of my favourite Man United players of all time behind Wayne Rooney is Edwin van der Sar. I used to get the Man United goalkeeper top every fucking year because I loved Van der Sar. And when I was wee, I loved Shay Given before he went to Man City and he betrayed me. I loved fucking Shay Given. I've always, goalkeepers just they automatically always come to me as like one of my favourites. That's why I love Joe Hart so much as well just now. I just always wanted to be a keeper. That career was never pursued, sadly. Yeah, imagine me and goals for Sellik.
Oh, you never gone goals at 5, so there's no fucking chance of that.
I fell, mate. I remember one time Cal McKenzie smacked me with a ball, fucking snapped my specs in 2, and I was never the same. Never the same after that.
Some people have knee injuries that they're never the same. You have glasses breaking.
Yep, it was never the same. I was always scared after that. You know, in case my glasses.
Traumatic experience.
Yeah,
I had
exactly.
that with dogs, to be honest.
Oh, did you? Aye.
Not like kicking them or anything. I'm not like I'm not like Kurt Zuma or anything.
I know you were scared of dogs. Aye.
I was. I think it was one of my dad's clients had this really, really jumpy dog because he took me on one of these visits one time, and it just kept on going jumping. And I used to hate dogs going right up in your face, jumping on you.
Aye.
I didn't like dogs for ages and ages, and then got one in 2020.
Aye.
Daisy,
right.
Loyal fan of this podcast.
Loyal
She's
fan.
been on it a couple of times.
That's true. Actually, she has.
I don't think she'll be in here anytime soon. But
I don't think so. No, it's quite a shame if we dragged the poor thing up here.
Thing. Thing.
Oh, you know, I didn't mean it like.
It's my sister you're talking about. My fluffy sister.
It's a bit weird that. No, just you know, it sound the way it came out.
I can't really say too much.
Right,
I love her to bits.
Right,
in fact, if you're still listening, mention
you
Daisy.
talking to the dog here still.
Daisy.
Right,
I've just in the comments, right, Daisy, if you're still.
If you're still here, right? Okay, you want to run through a team quickly? Go. I mean,
Bain in goals.
Bain.
Ralston, Welsh, Starfelt. Not Starfelt. Actually, I just said that off the top of my tongue. Julian and Welsh I'd put there. Left back, Scales.
Right.
Gucci. Oh no, Beaton.
Right.
No, Beaton, Gucci.
Right.
McCarthy.
Right.
Left wing. Who would be left wing? Oh my god, I can't even.
Forrest, maybe.
Potentially, yeah. No, Johnson, Mikey Johnson.
Oof.
I know.
God help us. Maybe we won't go through, boys.
Maeda and Dembele. I'd like to see
Dembele, wow.
Because he's back in training.
Right, okay. There's Ryan's V11 guess. We'll see.
That'll never happen.
No, I don't think so. But
there's too many changes.
Nah, too many. I think that's basically like 10 changes.
We'll press that button and Football Manager, the full 11.
Full rotation, bang. Right, we're 55 minutes through the show almost. What a fucking number to choose. We're almost at for the show. We'll go on to the Twitter segment question.
Get them up?
The questions, yes. We'll go to that and McGinley can pick his way through some ones. Callum, McGinley's loading up questions and such. Is there anything on your mind? Let's fill the gap with a wee couple of F1 chats.
I was actually going to address Fat Brad.
Oh,
it was
right.
a night out last night and they done the Joe Hart celebration with one of his pals.
Did they?
Middle of this place, there's this guy walks past him, confused as anything. It's quite funny. He'll watch this anyway. So
Is this in America?
Aye.
Out in America. Nice. Is he old enough to drink America?
Mate, he's got a fake ID that says he's 24. They gets away with it.
Aye. Whereabouts America is he again? Ohio?
Iowa.
Iowa.
Ah.
Nice. But F1, yep. I know there's a couple of people that listen to this show. I'm looking at Kieran and Aidan. They too like their F1. The livery reviews have started. Got a favourite yet?
Has to be Aston Martin. So it's actually the green.
Aye, the Aston
I
Martin.
even said in that chat, I'd love to see a Sellik kit with actually the green
That'd
in.
be nice. Metallic as well.
I'd take it.
You got a favourite, McKinley?
The one that goes the fastest.
So far, I don't think any of them will be. Well, McLaren might, who knows. Right, anyway.
Is this not the time where I update people on what movies I've been watching as well?
Oh, aye, of course, yes. What movies?
McGinley's
movies.
Yep, McGinley movies. Jojo Rabbit, I watched that.
Oh yes, yep.
That was an
I've wanted
interesting
to watch
watch.
that.
It was on Disney Plus if you want to check it out. It's quite.
It's
a weird
on Disney
one.
Plus.
It's on Disney Plus now because obviously they've got Fox movies.
Well, of course, Walt Disney was a big fan of that genre, you know.
I'm trying to think of the other movie that I watched as well. I watched something else at the weekend. And it'll come back to me. I'll think about it and it'll come back
I feel
to
like
me.
you were telling me what you were watching. I'm trying to think for you there, but fuck knows. Finished Boba Fett. That's finished. The series finished.
I
Good
heard
finale.
the last episode didn't get the best write-up.
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. There was a couple of things that annoyed
Was
me.
it not
but
like The
enjoyed
Mandalorian Part 2, basically?
it. Yeah, it turned into that pretty much. Aye. Right, let's get to the questions then. Let's go.
So, let me have a wee look. Milo says, hello sexy men. Hi Milo.
Hi, Milo.
Want to ask very quickly, who are your favourite unsung heroes of our journey so far?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'm trying to think if he's meaning the Celtic journey or the podcast journey.
Probably the Celtic journey, I would assume. I don't think there's many unsung.
When I think of the journey, I think of that Rangers journey, when they sold the Division 3 Part 1 of the journey complete.
That's a good question. Unsung here, because I feel like there's been so many. Do you know what? I'm going to say my answer, Abada.
I like that.
Doesn't get as much praise as I think he's deserved. There's mine. Used to.
My old twin, Gavin Stratton.
Gavin
What a job
Stratton.
that man's doing, the coaching though.
play. Fair
No, I think in recent weeks I'd probably push Greg Taylor.
Fair
Recent
enough.
performances, I think I'd
Fair
go and push
enough.
him out there.
Very
He's
nice.
certainly upped his game and he's getting up. He's at that. Well, I say getting up to that Celtic level now. Keeps that going for him. Good on him.
I'm going
Okay.
to say near beat on, especially after the whole Michelin debacle. The
Nice.
fact that he's came back and put in such great performances, obviously get that sending off against Dundee United, but it was such an important sending off as well. He's actually become more of a hero because he took it. And I think we needed that kick up the backside in that game. When there was sort of anger in us that got us that goal at the end. So
Fair
can't
enough.
complain.
That's a really good question. Let us know in the comments below who you think is the unsung hero so far this season. I think that Greg Taylor will split a lot of opinion right enough.
I think he's been pretty good since he came
the last
back.
few games he's been fair.
Arden asks, favourite and most memorable Celtic kit you remember?
That's a really good question. Celtic Kit podcast is one as well.
It's an awful one.
Full show, just fucking most memorable.
Do you want to go with away kits? Because
Do you know what? I know my answer right now, straight away. We'll go with any kit you want, because I know what my answer is, and it's always going to be my answer. Because do you know what? I fucking hated this shirt when it was first announced. See, when it was released, I despised it. It is now one of my favourite shirts ever as a Celtic fan. And in my lifetime, I adore it. It's one of my favourites to wear. It's fashionable. It's going to stand the test of time, and it has one of the most iconic moments of that 9-0 journey. For me, it's the Scott Brown won the league at Rugby Park shirt. I fucking love it.
the green and
The
neon
Madeleine,
one,
the bumblebee
neon
looking
one.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. Aye, that for me.
I like
I
that.
love it.
I'd probably say any kit during that 2012-2013 season. Maybe not the home kit, because I don't really like the stripe, the hoops as much.
Wow, really?
But the away and third kit, especially that third kit, that white one. And I mean, the away kit's probably the nicest black top I think we've had.
Fair enough.
Apart from maybe Black Magic back in 2003, 4.
Yeah, okay. Callum?
2002, see the yellow away kit. I loved that.
Aye.
That's
See
a
when
cracker.
classic football shirts done that pop-up shop.
Aye.
Straight away I was trying to get through all of them. Thankfully I managed to get myself one, but
I've got that as well. I think I've got the one for the yellow one. I think they had a yellow one a year before as well. And the sponsor's a wee bit washed. It's the big NTL.
I think the one previous was NTL, but like the added.
Yeah, whatever one it is. But brilliant, good shout. Right, next one.
Get quite a
Once
few
again, let us know your answer to that below.
Absolutely. Lewis Laird, friend of the podcast, legend. When all players are available, what is our strongest midfield three? Everybody's available.
I'll go to the other side of the table to start, Callum.
Fuck, I wasn't expecting to put in the spot there.
I've answered them all first, so I'm giving somebody else a turn.
McGregor, O'Reilly, and it's between Rogic and Hatate for me.
Aye.
Is that your answer?
I'll go Rogic.
Rogic, so you're going Rogic, O'Reilly, McGregor.
Could I feel more of them? Aye, but I think ask me again the end of the season.
Cool.
That's a proper change.
Yeah.
Mine's will change throughout the season as well, but right now I'm thinking McGregor, Hatate and O'Reilly.
Fair enough. I think we're on 3 different ones. For me, it's McGregor, Hatate, Rogic. So we've all got 3 different, but it will change, I think.
And I feel quite bad because Rogic is playing some of the best football of his career.
Listen, there's nothing separating all these guys at the moment. Very thin margins. I think all 3 of those midfields we've given are so very talented and impressive. I think that it just comes down to maybe, I don't know. The only reason I think I've picked Rogic over O'Reilly is because we've seen more of Rogic this season. That's probably why. And I think that you two would agree with the changes that you have made to my midfield. It's very fine margins.
Yeah, absolutely. And I still think that Turnbull could come in and do a job as well and be one of our best midfielders.
It's crazy.
It's mental that he's going to be coming back into the squad and he'll be 3rd, 4th choice midfielder.
Yep.
But that'll be great for rotation for Hatate to give him breaks because I know he's so important, but it'll be great to have a guy like Turnbull because, I mean, his goal and assist contribution before he was injured was great.
Yeah.
Just a shame how he pulled up.
Right, next question.
Jordan Gray asks, favourite Arthur Fleck murder? That's obviously the Joker.
Yes. I've got to admit my favourite is just the end.
Murray.
Do you want to hear another joke, Murray? What happens when you cross a mentally ill man
He's doing it.
with a society?
He's doing it.
Is there a chance you can put the photo of you up when you went to, where was it you went? Rome. And it's
Pulling the face back. I'd go for the Robert De Niro murder, the Murray show murder.
I liked the one that he done before that Rock and Roll Part 2 when he got dressed up as a Joker. I like because he was a dick. That guy. He planted the gun in his locker and got him sacked. And the more you watch that, the more you relate to him. I feel quite bad.
I thought he was going to kill the wee guy.
I like that bit with you get so many steps, but nah.
He grew up to manage Glasgow Rangers. Well, he didn't grow up, that's the thing.
Fantastic. Right, next question. It's good, Jai. Thanks, mate.
Pedro, the Spaces King himself, Pedro asks, was Lee Griffiths discovering flat earth the real factor that led to his downfall?
We were talking about this, I put this in the chat the other day. Genuinely, that's quite freaky. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago I put this in the chat saying sometimes I just sit down and think that this actually happened. You ever seen Bendy Waterley? Yeah, see if you look at the pictures, they're actually composite images. They aren't real. They're made to be computers.
These flat earthers are the same people that are the anti-vax, aren't they?
I
They need
believe in
something.
flat earth.
Do you?
I believe in
Alright,
flat earth.
carry it on.
Be half it. I believe in flat earth.
Really?
Obviously, if you see when you look towards the end, and
He's at it again.
See if you
He's
look
done
at
it again.
I'm not at it. If you look to the horizon, right, or when you're out in sea, do you see the world dipping? No.
I don't often find myself out at sea, to be fair.
I've been on cruises. I've seen the real water, and it's no bendy.
Yeah.
I'm joking. Obviously, I'm not
Thank fuck, man.
Oh, Jesus.
But that video was fantastic. What was the question though?
Was that the real factor that led to his downfall? No, I think there was other factors that
Nah,
led to
there
his
was many more before then.
Fat cunt. Nah, I'll do.
He's at full cup now.
Aye, that was that.
So
It's
Buick
just-
hates him now as well. He's going about.
Yeah. Yes.
Well,
That's
in all
certainly is.
senses, in all senses of the word,
I
man.
mean, maybe I was a bit harsh on him there, but maybe I wasn't harsh enough. Don't know.
Shay asks Kenny to play on Sunday. This is Johnny Kenny, not John Joe Kenny. Thank
Honestly, I made that mistake there. I think about John O'Kenny. I was like, what?
Has anyone bought the boot? That's the question.
Maybe. Good. No first.
I heard he wasn't in the team recently, or he wasn't training because he had like self-isolation issues or something, or a minor injury, but it'd be good to see him.
Okay, right, next one. Get us some good
Dills
ones.
asks, do you think Julian will be a Celtic player next season?
Aye.
Yes.
I don't think so.
No?
Oh, really?
No, I don't think Ange fancies him at all. I think
How do you know that?
he would have been in the team by now.
Oh, he's peace, come on. How would he have been in the team by now? How? He's got two centre-halves there that are playing incredibly well, right? He's not going to just take one of them out of the team. But Julian will get a chance when he gets a chance. I don't think there's anything to suggest Ange doesn't like him.
Well, you never know.
You never know, of course. I don't know that he does like him, but what were you going to say, Cam?
No, so I think more so in the fact that we don't know where Carter Vickers will be next season.
Exactly.
I think that's a big part of it.
A very good point, Cal. Intelligent.
And the same
thinking.
with Maeda, with Jota as well, you could say.
Aye.
Right.
Claire asks, after Ryan admitting his mistake with Joe Hart, who is the signing in Celtic history you got most wrong, either thinking they'd be class for them to flop or expecting the worst to be proven wrong? That's a great question.
That's a good
I
question.
think we all know mine. I went viral for mine.
Yeah.
think we know.
Duffster.
The Duffster. I think that's got to be mine, surely. That really did set me to levels that I don't think I'll ever achieve ever again.
I'm trying to think.
Like, I still remember my first drink outside when the pubs and that opened, the beer gardens. It was actually, funnily enough, you were there. It was me, you, Jake, Murdo, and
Kevin De Bruyne.
Kevin De Bruyne was there. Was it just us four that went that day? I was, wasn't it?
Murdo,
Jake, and you, and me. I think that was it. And I still remember about half an hour into it, it was just a group of Rangers fans on the other side of the mad tent. Shane Duffy! Oh, for fuck's sake. I don't rub it in. So I think for me it'd be Duffy.
That's actually a good question. It's hard to
really
It's
good
making me
question.
think, I wish I'd read this before it
Well
came
done,
out, because I
Claire.
would have
Well
been
done.
thinking about it. I was disappointed with Jeremy Toljan and Musonda as well.
Yeah, they were too.
I thought Musonda
that bit.
would walk it.
In fact, you're right, Nadia Chief G. Part of me
Nadia
wants him to
Chief
do
G.
well for his cause of, I mean, whatever shite he done, fuck that. But just for the fact of how well he was at Dundee United the season before.
Fair enough.
I think that was the point where we were just buying everything, or
It was
everyone
any
from
form of
Dundee
threat.
United. We're just buying Jackie McNamara's squad. And I think they get relegated that season
I'm gonna throw one in that I'm sure Kieran Aldous said numerous times, and I know that he would maybe say in this situation. One would probably be, I think I expected Gary Mackay-Steven to be class and Armstrong to be okay, but it was the other way about it. I think that's one.
I always knew Armstrong was going to be the one that stood the test of time.
I was confident that Armstrong would be better as well, if I remember rightly.
Gary Mackay-Steven would have the immediate impact, but it seemed that both of them did for a period, but Armstrong was just there. I mean, and he was one of the best players in Brendan Rodgers' original team. And what a goal he scored the other week. See that one in the FA Cup?
Cracker the way he hits it.
I miss him sometimes.
Right, go on, next one.
Sean says, near Beaton testimonial. Big yes from me.
Aye, go ahead. I won't be there.
Who are we playing?
I was going to say who we're playing.
We'll probably put him in with James Forrest.
I have a great affiliation with Israel. You know, Israel is
after
a beautiful
Abada.
country.
There's so many here.
There's a lot of questions this week.
People been desperate for-
Here's one I want to throw into Callum Craig. Every football top you own doesn't have to be Celtic. Is drenched in petrol and about to be burned. You're only allowed to go in. You're allowed to go in and save just 3. What 3 tops are you saving and why?
Oh,
That's a really fucking.
Right.
That's James, my man James. He would have loved the Wayne Rooney documentary today, I'm betting. But fantastic question. That's incredible. I just wanted to skim
again,
through.
Zaf, not just yourself sitting here, but the Club America one you and Stephen got me.
Oh, that's
the other
nice,
week. It's just such a nice design, yeah.
See, I can pick a top. I can pick a top.
Oh fuck, it's a hard one.
So if there's any ladies listening who wants a boyfriend that knows to buy them football tops,
It seemed a bit like Susan Boyle there when you said that.
I can be a wee bit feisty at that.
That's just one side of it.
That's what she says. I couldn't remember. Oh, that's just one side of me.
You put that up for me there, I just took it.
2012 Barca, the turquoise
Nice.
kit.
That is a
That's
screamer.
cracker. And then I'm trying to ones it. The fact that all of them sit in that drawer, I'm convinced there's at least 30% of them in my drawer I've not worn yet.
I'll be burned as well if they're all in close proximity.
Fuck it, I've tapped my head. Leipzig's kit for this season, that way kit.
Really? Wow. For
I'm
me,
on their home kit.
if I was to pick, fuck Leipzig. If I was to pick 3 off the top of my head that I could say, this will be the last question we do because we need to get on the quiz. We're wasting a lot of time.
More,
Have you got one more? Right, that's fine. If I was to pick 3, I'm picking the away top from the year we stopped the 10, the black with the green, the big Umbro sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
I am.
There,
Shut up. I would pick
Well, I thought it was to be non-Celtic.
I said Celtic if you like, I think.
Oh,
Fuck it. We'll do non-Celtic.
Alright,
We'll do
no,
non-Celtic. We'll do non-Celtic.
Right.
I'd pick my first ever Manchester United shirt, the year they won the Champions League, 07-08, just to play in red with the AIG.
I had that top as well.
You're a fucking weird one, you, ain't you? Can't figure you out. What team do you like, mate?
Them all. I like good
fucking
football.
hell.
Which is why I don't like Man United anymore.
I'd pick that. I would pick whatever tops do I fucking love. I'd pick the Germany home shirt from 1994, I want to say, which is a cracker. And I would pick my Borussia Dortmund shirt from last season, the special edition throwback to the 90s with the neon. That's the 3 I'd pick. That's the 3 I'm saving.
I don't really have that many.
There's a lot of shirts that I'm leaving to burn there, and that's a shame.
It's a shame. And it would catch fire really quickly because they're all tops.
Yes, McGinley, thank you very much.
I'm trying to think. There was a Barcelona top that I like. It won't fit me anymore because I think it was like an extra large boys. Although to be fair, that could fit me. I've not really grown much since then. But it was the UNICEF one. Remember they had the UNICEF and it was like the anniversary top.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. What a team as well at that point. And I had the Man City one, the one that they won the league, the 2011-2012. Yes, I've had a Man City and a Man United top.
The most horrendous fucking thing.
Pretty sure they had an Arsenal top as well at
Oh
one
my
point.
God.
With Thierry Henry. That's terrible.
You're
isn't it?
literally that fucking meme at FIFA, aren't you? Like the guy that's in every crowd. Well, Fogden if you like. I'm talking about the mad fucking fan in FIFA. And everybody always goes, oh, he's a glory hunter.
Like Drake as well. Drake's been Right, we'll get on to this last question.
So what was your 3? Very quickly, Barcelona.
The Man City 11-12 one.
Wasn't even a nice shot.
Oh my god, what other tops do I have?
You're just picking 2. You can pick 2 if you want, mate.
No, I'll take the black 2012-2013 Celtic top.
Right, he's trying to be Sellik top.
The
Right,
ones that
cool.
you roll them up and they'll get the
Tricolour.
tricolour.
The 3 colour. Aye. Right, okay.
Last question. We've always got to have
sorry.
a food question.
Oh, a food
You know
question. At this time of night.
Connor asks, soft or crispy roll?
I love both. I really do. I really do like both. I'm not one of those ones that are like scared of a crispy roll, and I'm not one of the people that shun you for having a soft roll. But if I was to pick, I'm picking a soft roll.
I think it was the better. Depends what's on it again.
Aye, it does, doesn't it?
Aye.
I wouldn't have like a crispy I wouldn't have a crispy cold roll, I don't think. But I love a crispy hot roll. I don't know. But I'd pick soft. I had to pick one.
Do you like a well-fired roll? Because I do. Like the black ones.
You still have them as a wee guy on a weekend.
Need some chips.
Cracking shit.
Need to be McGee's rolls. See the ones you get out of
The
Tesco?
McGee's morning rolls.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah, fuck
Or
it,
any
I'll
ones
go
you get at a corner shop. There's just specific ones in Coatbridge that I really like. I'll go to. God, I want a roll now.
You want a roll now?
I do.
That is
I want my
really
dinner now, to be honest.
Because it's poor boys ending a shift and been rushed right out here.
Actually, we've been talking for an hour and 15 really to move on, but I need to get your opinions very, very, very quickly because it's regarding a Celtic great, you could say. Kieran Tierney,
Oh, you said this earlier?
apparently wanted by Real Madrid as part of their new
blame him.
Galacticos project. We did say he'd go to the limit, the sky was the limit, and boy were we right. I hate it because sometimes you get fans on the opposition side who say, oh, you should bomb up everybody, you're that good. When we know there's a player, and he's a fucking player, like Shane Duffy.
Remember they were trying to make that comparison between him and Miles Bierman. I'm pretty sure Miles Bierman now plays in
It's
his
him and
native
McCrory.
Malta, is it?
I don't mean to call out Div because we do TSF from, but I made a video with Div back in 2017 and it was Tierney versus McCrory, and I'm pretty certain he was adamant on McCrory was going to have a better career than Kieran Tierney. One is now at Aberdeen, and the other has been linked with a move to none other than Los Blancos, Real Madrid.
That just reminds me of that Mick McCarthy video that Spunkphone uses. That
That
went
went
well.
well. you got caught at a belter with that, didn't you?
I did.
Right, let's get on to the final segment then. This button doesn't work right nowadays. It's like
We
it's
can't
just-
hear it. We can't hear the
You
music.
can, so there's no point in
trying
having it.
that.
Let's
I'm
get
watching
on to the end of show quiz. We did in the last episode get to the point where everybody has played 2 fixtures. McGinley is the only person so far who has won 2 out of 2,
Top of the table.
and Callum Craig's the only person so far who has lost
I've had
2
fucking howlers, man.
out of 2. Me and Kieran all are mid-table with 1 win apiece, but it's time for match day 3 to commence, and it will begin with me versus Callum Craig. Ryan McGinley's your quizmaster for this evening. Ryan McGinley, take it away.
Thank you very much. Who wants to be first? Who wants to be second?
Spec should go first.
Oh, great, I've just been told what I'm doing. Wow, right, okay, that's fine by me. This one goes out to my man, Wayne Rooney.
And thanks again to Matthew Duff for providing us with a quiz. So you're going first, yeah?
Yes.
So, true or false? Scott Brown has played more Champions League games than Henrik Larsson, not including qualifiers. True or false?
True.
Correct.
Yes.
He's played 34 compared to Larsson's 28. Callum, to equalise. True or false? There has never been a Celtic player with a surname beginning with the letter U.
Part of me has a gut feeling there's just been somebody somewhere. False.
False.
Origidi.
Urigidi.
Aye, Origidi.
And
Aye.
the other one,
you're right,
this would be
aye.
a pointless answer if it was unpointless.
Aye.
Ugolini, a goalkeeper from the 40s.
Christ.
I mean,
Take
that-
right
Matthew
back.
knows his stuff, man.
my dad might have got that one.
It's in the same class as him in school.
Probably, aye.
No, your dad watched him playing. He's brilliant.
Scout him, what a boy.
Fuck off.
So
I've got family watch this show.
my mum watches the show and she complains that you're swearing all the time.
Nah, get it up.
Aye, come on now.
I'm joking, Mrs. McGinley. You're a cracking woman.
This, okay.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
Jeez, oh. So this is to go 2-1 up.
Yes.
Who is the last Celtic manager to win the Scottish PFA Manager of the Year?
Now, off the top of my head, I'm thinking to myself, right, surely it's got to be Brendan Rodgers. That's not my final answer. I'm thinking surely it's got to be for the Invincible season. But I feel like it's a trick question. But it's surely got to be. It's got to be Brendan Rodgers, surely.
And that is
Aye,
right.
aye, it had to be. Invincible season it would have been because I think Clark won it the year after that,
Yeah.
Aye,
And
should
then-
have
and
done.
he was
then
had half a
Rodgers. Then
season.
Rodgers obviously left. So aye.
So another one about Celtic managers. Which Celtic manager has won the most Scottish PFA Manager of the Year awards since the award began in 2007?
Yeah. Fuck.
That's a good quiz. That's a good question.
Good question.
Since 07. I'm trying to go for the manager since 07.
I think I know who it is.
Since 2007.
Right, Cam, come on, you've got about 5 to
And I'm
choose
just
from.
trying to think he's fucking... No. Fun up. Lennon.
So I would have said.
No.
Gordon Strachan.
Strachan.
1-2.
I would have said Barrel Lenny.
Fuck.
Maybe for the Hibs.
Well, nah, I would never have
Or for winning the championship.
No, fuck off.
Fair enough. It's me defending Lennon. Who would have thought?
Right, so I'm
Things
up,
are flying in the
I'm up
sky.
2-1, got to question 3, Cam. Oh,
Yep. Who is the only Celtic manager to be an interim manager on 2 separate occasions?
I love how. Right, surely that's Lenny.
Yep.
Aye. I love how there's a lot of manager questions, but surely because Lenny would have been interim manager following the sacking of Tony Mowbray and
Yep.
following the departure of your man Brendan Rodgers.
True. From February to June 2010 and March to June 2019. We'll not talk about that second one.
Well, he won a treble, mate.
He won Rodgers' treble. Former Celtic player and interim manager Tom Maley was what relation to Celtic legend Willie Maley?
Great-great-grandson?
Brother.
Brother? Fuck, I'm just trying to bring the line away.
That was very obscure. I like that.
I thought...
I would have went with son. I would have went with great-great-grandson right now.
So
Try to bring it down.
he took over from Willie to take charge for the 1931 USA tour after a playing career at Celtic and Man City.
Fantastical.
Wow.
Your dad, I watched him, I know.
Right, I can win here, can't I?
I think so, yeah. Which Celtic reserve player did Celtic send on loan to our Scottish Cup opponents Raith Rovers in the 1819 season? This is going back to maybe one of those ones that you would get. Maybe not on FIFA because they wouldn't have been in FIFA, obviously.
Right.
Football Manager.
So they would have went from Celtic. Did he currently play for Sellik? Are you allowed to give that away?
I don't know.
Right.
Nah, fuck him. No close here.
Is it Connor Hazard?
No.
Nah,
It's Regan Hendry. No, wouldn't have got that.
I don't think so.
No.
I knew he was out on loan, but I didn't know it was right.
Is this to equalise, yeah? I should know this, I'm the quiz master.
I know
but
you better keep track. This is
I'm not
literally
that
your one
stupid.
job.
It's one job that I'm buzzing
Not
with.
So
that.
I've got what? Go through the questions. I can't believe this, McGinley. So unprofessional,
You
mate.
got the Scott Brown one,
Yep.
you got the Brendan Rodgers one,
Yep.
and you got the Neil Lennon one.
I
So
know,
I'm
I'm
gonna-
on
Three, and you can.
1.
So this,
is
3-1,
to
that's
equalise?
2.
this can make it 3-2.
Aye.
Okay.
Or is it? No, because he didn't get the Gordon Strachan one.
No, because I went Lenny for that.
So this could make it 3. He's got one right though.
Aye, so
So
it's
it's
3-2.
3-2.
Aye.
As I just said.
Okay.
Fucking hell, man.
So what team did Celtic play at this stage of the Scottish Cup during the 1920 season that went on to win the treble?
Fuck.
1920.
I think I know it. I've got it. I've
What
got it.
season?
1920.
season.
Right before COVID. I know it.
Not got a fucking Scooby.
I know it. I'm certain of it, in fact.
I'm only give us it. Come up, hang on. Is it Clyde?
Correct.
Bastard. Because we
I
beat,
know I'm bio.
we beat
Aye.
Partick Thistle in the first
It
round.
was awful. Do you
Aye.
And
remember
then we
that?
played
was
Clyde.
shambolic.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a lie. So if I get this right, I win. If I get it wrong, Callum has a chance. Right.
Big bio scored against Clyde. I remember that.
Aye.
There have only been 3 players with the surname beginning with Z. Name 2 of them. I'm gonna get you to name 3 of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well, actually,
That makes it fun.
Zarafsky.
Yep.
Maciej Zarafsky. Fucking hell.
I thought you'd get at
another
least
one.
2 of them really
I know.
quickly.
Maciej Zarafsky and...
Another one now.
Oh my god, almighty, my head's hitting a brain fart and a half here. Maciej Zarafsky and... Who am I forgetting? It's obviously really fucking... It's
Yep.
obvious as fuck. Is it obvious as fuck? Like, proper obvious? Who the fuck am I forgetting? This is...
I couldn't
There's
name
one
three,
that's
but I
obvious, and
definitely
there's
know
one that maybe be like a quiz question.
I forfeit.
Doska.
So Luska.
Oh, Lucas! Lucas!
And remember the screamer he scored at Hearts at Tynecastle? Zeng Z.
Oh, Shang-Chi.
I would never get that one, but
Christ,
Doska was my other one.
So this is a chance for Cal to take it to the tie-breaking question.
Right.
Oh,
Wow.
fuck. I don't like this pressure.
What percentage of goals that Aberdeen have conceded in the league this season have been scored by Jota to the nearest 5%?
Trying to score so I've not played them.
That's the Chinese shutting. Honestly.
Shuttle's gone down at that pace.
3?
So, see for the nearest 5%, sorry. It's
Oh,
maybe
sorry.
fi-
Right,
five too much or 5 too...
I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
No, because it's too difficult if it's just the one.
Right, I don't know, mate. What is
so
that?
it's 8%. It's the
Oh, catch
Sorry,
fucking
no,
miles off.
that's a
Fuck
bit,
yeah, aye, I'm the winner. Get it round you. Fucking
Try to be nice. Try to be nice, man.
Aye, piss off. 3 and 8. Woo! I'm your winner. I'm up to 2 as well, but I played 3. Very nice. Well done, McGinley. For hosting.
I was terrible.
Congratulations, Calum. You're a 0 and 3.
I mean, hopefully questions, you know what? I'm glad I managed to get at least 2 of that. I'll take that.
Nice, he's already on to order his Chinese. Look at him, man, fucking
I
hell.
don't blame him.
I don't blame him. Well, that's us.
Fuck, man.
That's us for this week anyway. What would have been the tiebreaker?
The modern day Celtic badge that is used to this day was implemented in which year?
It would have been 1990. We changed it.
I think I know that one.
1994.
Wrong. 1995.
Bastard! Because it used to say the Celtic Football and Athletic Club, didn't it?
Dunno.
I think.
Just something like that.
I think so. And even at that, I think it obviously did take a change in just general whatever. But I knew it was around that era, 1994, 95. Fuck. Right, okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming along for episode number 51 of the Sellik the Thunder podcast. It's been an absolute toe tapper of an episode. It's been a long one. I hope you have been enjoying it. And it's time for us to go. McGinley, thanks very much.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for having me.
What are you fancying for the Chinese?
Anything at this point. I'll take anything that's open.
Nice.
Breast of chicken curry.
Breast.
Breast.
And Callum Craig. You didn't know
I thought to take off track night, son. So good.
Oh yes, we're in for a rigorous night of F1 racing.
Ryan, I know we've done it earlier, Nando, so who's above you?
Fuck off. Fuck off. I'll be top by tonight, you don't worry about that.
I can flip the table.
Right, if you've been on YouTube, make sure to hit like and subscribe. It is much appreciated. If you're on Spotify listening via audio, if you're travelling or whatever, then make sure to hit like, follow and share it out with anybody, and give us a good review. And also follow us on Twitter at Sellik Podcast. That'll do us. Thank you all, and we'll see you all next time.